Welcome once again to the Roundtable discussion on Republic TV. I am your host, Gabriel Oche. Today we'll be delving into the dailies as usual, and we'll be picking up topics concerning the UNGA summit. We'll be discussing Galamsey and several other topics that are in our dailies, including the candidate that is best to lead, Dr. Brian Champon, for the New Patriotic Party. So let's go through the dailies for now. In the National Forum, Ayikoi Otu shreds Puaman, government complicit in illegal mining. In the new Weekend Crusading Guide, on the front page it says, Galamsey showdown, forget aid, asset control over natural resources. Mahama fires up Africa at UNGA. The Source has it at the front page, Tokrono removal, a travesty of justice, Ayikoi Otu. In the front pages of the Chronicle, it says, no single nation should exercise absolute veto, Mahama tells UN. On the front page of the Ghanaian Publisher, Professor Kwesi Yanka writes, farewell, Ayensu River. Also, it has Sami Awuku rejects NLA misuse allegations. On the front pages of the Ghanaian Times, Reform Security Council, President Mahama demands from the UNGA. On the front pages of the Supreme newspaper, Awuku refutes misuse claim, defends NLA good causes achievement. On the front page of the Daily Guide, it says, illegal miners on rampage, takes over Gridco sites. Also, on the front page of the Brief, it says, Brian Champon, 20,000 strong delegates would decide, not 15 MPs. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers alike, these are the topics for the day, and I'll be spending time delving on these topics with you. These issues about Galamsey happening daily, day in and out, it's beginning to look as if the government says one thing on the left side of the map, and on the right side of the map, it says something else. Because we are hearing the government is putting up a strong fight. We are hearing the government is sending in military men. They've sent Water Guard, Blue Army, whatever they are sending different groups. And now we're even hearing that there will no longer be a state of an emergency, but rather they are declaring all water bodies and forest reserves as security zones to stop people from going into these or encroaching into these areas. Now, the problem here is, are they just saying it or are they acting? If they are just saying it, then yes, it is the case. That is why we're seeing all we're seeing. Today, Mr. Frank Oche, who is the deputy CEO of Gridco and is in the capacity of operations, is saying that they need help. They need help because they cannot man their sites alone. They are asking for security forces to protect their sites. This is because Galamseyers go into their sites at night, mine close to transmission towers. Listen, when a transmission tower falls or breaks down, you should ask yourself a simple question as an ordinary Ghanaian and put the government on their toes by asking, how long does it take the state or Gridco to put up a single tower? Now, if one should fall and cause others to fall, how long would we live in darkness in this country? Listen, these lines are the distributing channel for either thermal, gas, or solar power that we receive. And Galamseyers are bold enough to go mine close to these things. Listen, the structure or the integrity of these things are based on the strength on the ground. Now, if they are being shaken day in, day out by illegal miners, at first it was just water. And even though water was life, we were believing that with time, things will change. Now it's not just water. Your ECG will be affected. For those who think that the previous government did worse and will not give fair hearing or take their time to understand the issues, these are the issues. Today, it's not just about water. Today, it's not just about closing down treatment plants. It's about ECG telling you that their pylons may fall They may not be able to supply power, and we may live in darkness. I mean, this is the government that has, given us the longest period we've slept in darkness. Maybe, only maybe, they are willing to take us back. So must end. So must Galamsey end. Please, Ghanaians. Please, Ghanaians. The goodwill is enough. It's time for us to say our mind. It's time for us to let Ghanaians know that there's a challenge, there's a problem, we are seeing it, it's visible, and that we need the government to be on their toes, work hard, because they were elected to be there, not to create stories about the opposition government every day in and out with the impression that the opposition party did some wrongs. Yes, they did some wrongs, according to you. Maybe that's why Ghanaians voted for you. What are you doing different? Last year, by this time, dollar was higher, fuel was cheaper. Today, dollar is cheaper, fuel is higher. The goodwill has to come to an end. Ghanaians need to ask the government to sit on there and work hard and give us that prosperity for which reason we voted them into power. The influencer jobs by ministers and MPs should come to an end, and we should see them truly working. The current Minister for Lands, we heard what he said on the final day of Akufo-Addo's tenure in government, what he said to him in his face. We expect him to know better, do better, and impress Ghanaians. On the sidelines, at the UNGA summit, we had the president speak boldly concerning our membership on the UN Security Council, and how he thinks that Africa deserves representation for over 53 countries. We cannot let other countries dictate to us how security and how things should be done globally for all of us. I think it's a fair thing to say, and it's welcoming. These are the things that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had been saying all this while. And, they used to ridicule him. His party members, foot soldiers alike, used to ridicule him. I was not so surprised that the president, when he's in Ghana, he says one thing, and then when he's on international stage, he says another. Over there at the UN, we heard him talk about how COVID has returned us to minus 20 years and brought us back poverty that we did not have when the Akufo-Addo government had been in power for 3-4 years. So obviously, we would need international help. He also spoke about reparations, which Akufo-Addo has been a champion for and has been saying all this while. They called him a beggar for saying it. But like we always remind Ghanaians, John Mahama, for me, and in my books as Gabriel Anakosi-Oche, remains a con man who has a con artist syndrome, and he's used that to win power. Today, everything that they blamed and mocked Akufo-Addo for, he is saying the same thing. But I am sure when he returns to Ghana, he will tell you otherwise. He will say the opposite. It is not so surprising that in 2022, when the Akufo-Addo government decided to add to the NHIS bill, which they sent to Parliament, childhood cancer diseases as well as sickle cell miracle drugs, to be free for children who were suffering from sickle cell and also children who had cancer to be treated for free. Now, we are hearing the current Minister of Health, who has just been acting as a social media influencer in his capacity as a minister, going to the UNGA summit at the high-powered CDC African sideline meeting, stating that these are the achievements that Ghana has made so far. I am believing that he went there to impress the world that this is what his government, or this is what his tenure as minister, they have been able to achieve. But these are things that have existed for the last 3 years. Obviously, that tells you that for the last 3 years, things that Akufo-Addo government did are only the things that they can brag about. They have no idea, they have no intentions to add to it, and they don't have the locus to even understand exactly how these things came into being and how they could even expand on it. So, Mr. Minta Akando, we are waiting for what else that you would bring, add to your ministry, and so you will leave a lasting legacy, not shaking hands with people who go and attack our nurses. Hopefully, when you return to Ghana, whilst you were taking credit for it in London and in America, in New York, you come back to Ghana and tell Ghanaians that when you went to New York, people applauded you. just because of the achievement of the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government. Under Dr. Brian Echampong campaign, we've heard him say so much. We've heard him try to galvanize the base, impress the youth, make them feel that the party is theirs and they can come back to it. The 1.7 million people who decided to stay away from the party and shy away from it because they were not interested in the current leader who went into the polls in December. He's telling them, listen, there's a new man. The new man is Dr. Brian Echampong. Dr. Brian Echampong is a man that you have known all this while. You didn't know him as a man with intention to go for presidency, but he knew that you wanted someone like him to be president, and so he's made himself available to serve Ghana, make the MPP strong, make it attractive again, and not just the 1.7 million, but for so many people who wanted a man like Dr. Brian Echampong, but because he was not on the ballot, voted for the NDC. He's here to bring them back and put them on the course that they want. In the Eastern region, whilst he started his tour, he was in the home constituency of one of the MPs who led the conversation at one of Baumia's campaigns, saying that the number 15 MPs who in the Eastern region are canvassing for him and that they are promising him that they will give him votes. Funny enough, the leader of that delegation, he had left his delegates without giving them the respect and telling them what he was going to do on their behalf. Dr. Brian Echampong was with his delegates. At the meeting with his delegates, Dr. Brian Echampong promised things that he would do, told them that, listen, when you came to Rock City, I heard your plea, I heard your cries, I heard your worries, and I heard your problems and your challenges. These are my answers. They were impressed with the things he said. He also went ahead to tell them that, listen, delegates number 20,000 in the Eastern region. And in the Eastern region, 15 MPs cannot decide for 20,000 delegates. These 20,000 delegates know who Dr. Brian Echampong has been to them and been to the whole of the Eastern Region caucus. They are aware of how he has actually invested in some of the MPs who stood against him yesterday on the ticket of another MP, another candidate. They are aware that over 20 MPs received funds not less than 1 million Ghana cedi each to support their campaign, even when he was not the flag bearer. They know that they need funding, and they know that it's not just funding to win the election, but they need a pragmatic leader, a leader with bold solutions, a leader who have actually acted, done things that are visible, that can be touched without government input. As a private citizen, Dr. Brian Echampong is tooting and telling people that look at what I have done in my own constituency. That tells you what I can do in other constituencies. I heard Abronye recently saying that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was able to secure Wale Wale, and so he has something to show for his home. He also mentioned that Honorable Kwabena Japan was also able to secure his home in Mampong. Likewise, Dr. Yawedu Chum was able to secure Bosomtwe for the MPP. In the same vein, Dr. Brian Echampong has also been able to secure for us Abetifi. But Honorable Kenneth Japan could not do the same for his constituency. What I would like to add to that is that Dr. Brian Echampong did not only secure his constituency, he secured as much as over 20 constituencies addition by investing in them with cash, time, and being visible on the grounds to support them. This is who a pragmatic leader is. He said on stage that for anybody to compete and compare with him what they have done in their constituencies or in their area, they should go and look at what they have done in their background. In his background, there in Abetifi, he's worked to build a stadium for the football team in the constituency by name Okowu United. He has also been able to, he's actually building the longest airstrip for the airport he's putting up in the constituency. He has the biggest hotel in the whole of Africa in his constituency. He has helped as much as 1,680 farmers in his constituency, built more than 8 new schools, 8 new primary schools in his constituency. He has taken care and nurtured over 100,000 babies in his constituency, over 500 kids between class 1 and the university that he's paying school fees for in his constituency. He does not need to brag about what he has done. He does not need to use the airwaves to brag about what he has done, but the people know. That is why he's saying that over 20,000 delegates that will decide. Omunim ne dada. Omunim de wire dada. Nipa 20,000 in the wire dada. Omunim de wire no constituency dada. Omunim de wire other constituencies ewo Eastern region. He needs not to go about saying it. So for those who believe in opulence, show off, big stages, a whole lot of cars, you are the reason why delegates are not happy. You are the reasons why people who voted for us previously were not voting for us again. Because the opulence you showed in the last primary, you have not stopped it. The bigmality, you have not stopped it. The show off, you have not stopped it. And delegates have learned that if they vote for you again, the citizens who form majority of the voters during the main election will punish us. So they will not make that mistake again. People are asking, Dr. Brian is not everywhere on the social media. He's not doing too much like the others. The current contest is between himself, a few other contestants, and they are vying for votes that come from delegates within the New Patriotic Party and not the whole of Ghana. If we keep on showing opulence like this, after we've been able to convince delegates with our show-off to vote for us, the next question will be, how do we do saying for voters? I have been a witness. I have heard people say that Papa will crampo ontimi ntro ni din, but Papa will pay president o man 5,000. Na ye a yakọ university we a yakọ to a yakọ saline amana ba ye president no. Ye no ba be frɛ keke say ye mfiri fie nko. Ye nko to ema mo. Ye betina fie ye nto aba. Say open flag bearer do me 5,000. Open president be shine abetua. These are some of the things that the youth got angry about and stayed away, shied away from voting for us. Dr. Brian Champon has taken time to analyze all of these things. You see, the trait of he being a military trained person is part of the reasons why I give him so much credence to the way he moves. Painstakingly taking time to analyze people's problems, their worries and their complaints, set up his campaign in a way that he does not show opulence, but yet gives the message as it is. Or catch remo, do obet my yama Ghana, some more man a chance. Do obet my yama party no, some more man a chance. My yam fat to me no, enko show be, and sem ma 2029, yen santina fie. Medin di Gabriel and Akwesi Meji Dr. Brian Champondi. I know you believe in him too. You've seen his work, you've seen what he's done in private life, as a businessman, as an MP, as a minister, from security to agric. Yenim Nyuma. I believe in Dr. Brian Champon. I believe in his capacities. I believe in the things he says. And I believe in his actions. Because wayama yehu, waboa MPs, waboa nemai, waboa ne constituency. My name is Gabriel Oche. I believe in Dr. Brian Champon. And I hope you do too. Thank you for staying with me, ladies and gentlemen, on the Roundtable discussion on Republic TV. Hopefully we get to meet soon again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you and bye-bye.